Hi, happy Sunday. As you can already tell by the name of this video, I'm going to be giving you a garden tour, and I'm also going to be planting in some new plants today. So I have 3 plants here that I'm going to be planting today. 2 of them are non-natives, but one of them is a native plant. This one here is blanket flower. This is my native plant. I am here in Central Florida, and this is going to do great here. The bees and the pollinators are going to love this. So we've got this one first. Then I have this one. This is Mexican heather. It does look kind of crispy right now. I forgot to water it and it's in a pretty small pot, but it should bounce back. But this is not a native plant here, but it should still do really good. I do have one other one that is in my garden. This one is a magenta color and the other one is just the regular kind of light purple color. But bees also love this, so this will do good in the garden. Even though it's not a native, it's still gonna be pretty good for my garden. Okay, and then last but not least, this is a loofah plant. My stepdad gave this to me, he grew it, and I'm gonna just put this in the ground and hopefully we'll get some loofahs. All right, let's go lay them out. To fill up the hole with fertilizer and then plant this in the ground. This is the fertilizer I'm going to be using. It's just an all-purpose fertilizer. For the loofahs, I would probably use something more like a vegetable one, and then the flower ones I would use a flower tone, but I don't have it, and this is all-purpose, so it's not the worst thing to use, and they do need fertilizer when you're first planting them in the ground. So this is what I'm using. Alright, and we're going to be planting this way because I want this to grow up the fence. Let's see, how are the roots? Pretty good actually. Just going to rough up the roots a little bit and plant it in here. Alright. So conveniently, there's actually a hook right here, and it gets a really good amount of sun, which is what this plant needs. So that is why I planted it in this spot. So as it gets big enough, I will be hooking it here on this hook, because it kind of needs like a trellis situation. All right, now I'm planting this guy. The reason we're doing this, roughing the roots up, is because if you don't and the roots are like already kind of going in a pattern, the roots will just keep going in the pattern. They won't spread out and the plant's not going to be happy. So you want to always do this to the roots. So I'm planting this magenta heather next to my original heather. I actually planted that other original heather about a few weeks ago, and it looks amazing. It seems to really like this spot, so I'm really hoping the magenta heather is gonna also love this spot, and I think it'll look pretty cool with them next to each other because you'll really see the contrast. The original one that I put in has a lighter, pinkier colored flower, and then the foliage is more of like a yellowy green, and then the magenta one of course is more of that like dark hot pink flower, and the leaves are a darker green. So I think they'll look really cool next to each other, especially since they're similar plants, and the bees and the other pollinators hopefully will see them better because they're closer together. That's what I'm hoping. Anyways, I think they're gonna look amazing together, and I think they're gonna do great in this spot. Alright, I'm just going to water in all of these new plants that we just planted, and then I am going to come through with some mulch. I'm just going to use pine straw. There's a big pine tree right here and it drops needles, so that's what I use for mulch. It's free. because it's gonna keep a lot of moisture in. If you just leave the grass, well, not grass, but the dirt, if you just leave it bare, it's not very good. It's not very healthy for the earth, for the plants. You want to make sure that the moisture is staying in, especially here in Florida. We are in, I believe, a 10A is the zone that we're in. So it gets really hot here. And it stays pretty warm. So this here is actually some calendula that I planted. So we don't want to cover that up. It's growing really slowly. Alright, it's time for the garden tour. As you can see, this is a very tiny garden, so the tour is not going to take very long, but this is what we got. So let's show you. This is a pineapple that I randomly have in the corner. This is a panda plant, I think. I don't know, I just shoved it in this pot and I don't even know if this is gonna grow anything because it's not really looking that great. But this section over here, I have a few herbs. I've got 2 mints. This one is a peppermint plant, and then this one here is a spearmint plant. The peppermint kind of looks pretty bad. I don't really know why. I think I might have forgotten to water it and it's just taking time to bounce back. And then right here I have parsley, which actually I planted this from seed and the seeds just like weren't growing and I didn't know why. And then I just like left them alone for a while and then they grew parsley. I've never successfully grown parsley from seeds, so we'll see if this even lives. But hopefully I'm gonna nurture it and let's see what happens. In this section, I've got an apostle iris and then a caladium. This caladium actually was given to me by my nanny. She called it the Heart of Jesus, is what apparently the name of this caladium is called. But I actually have another section of those. This one just has one little leaf here. I just planted it the other day, and then it popped up a new leaf. So that one's gonna be here, and then behind the caladiums, there's a bare spot. That's actually going to be where I put my pineapples. So there is a pineapple in that pot. That pot will probably stay there, but then every time I get a pineapple from the grocery store, until this area is filled, I'm gonna just keep planting pineapple in this section. This apostle iris has been in our garden for a few years now. It's supposed to bloom. It's supposed to get like a really cool looking flower on it. I don't think it gets enough sun though, so honestly it might never bloom. But if it does bloom, I'm gonna be very excited, so hopefully one day. In this section here, I have a lot going on. I've got zinnias that I started from seed, this butterfly bush that I just got from the plant store. This is that loofah that my stepdad gave to me that he grew from seed. And then this here is my blanket flower that we just planted. And then in front of that, we've got calendula, which is growing pretty slowly, so I don't know if it will ever flower, we will see. And then right to the side here, it doesn't really look like anything, but it is actually a sweet pepper plant. It was in a really tiny pot and I didn't have any more pots at the time, so I just shoved it in the ground. We'll see if it grows. It actually looks better than it did before, believe it or not. Here we have a Eureka lemon tree. We got this not very long ago, maybe a few months now. It hasn't flowered or fruited yet, but it is very new. So I think hopefully by spring we will start getting some lemons, hopefully. All right, and then down here we have that Mexican heather, and then right next to it is the magenta Mexican heather. If this starts blooming and looking good, we will update you in another video, but it's still looking crisp, but there it is. Right next to it here we have a hibiscus. I had to chop all of this down because it got really infested with spider mites. So I just chopped it all the way down. It's growing new leaves very fast. The new leaves look really good, really healthy. I don't see any more spider mites, but anyways, it looks really good. This hibiscus is beautiful. If I can find like a clip of the hibiscus when it's blooming, I will put it in the video. Laura will put it in the video. But yeah, this one is really pretty. I'm excited that this is growing. And then over here, this is my banana trees. These actually came from my great-grandfather. He threw banana into his compost, and this is one of the many plants that grew from it. But yeah, so this has been in the family for a while. Over here with vinca, this stuff kind of pops up all over the garden. It looks beautiful, which I do really like, but I usually pull it if I see more, because I want this garden, especially since there's such a limited space of garden, I want more of the garden to be perennials, as well as native plants, and the bees don't really like this that much. Actually, really nothing likes this. It's just kind of pretty. I guess I like it, but that's about it. And then here we have bamboo. This is, I believe it's black timber bamboo. So the stalks, or the shoots, is that what you call it? The shoots will turn black. But these are all pretty like small shoots, so none of them are really black yet. And then over here is my bigger set of caladiums. They're kind of starting to die down a little. I don't know if it's because it's getting cold or what, but this plant was a lot bigger a few months ago. The rest of this in-ground gardening space here is going to be filled with other flowers that pollinators like to come and visit, and then more native plants that, again, can be home for other animals around here that are native to the area and need a housing. Okay, next let's look at this garden bed situation. There's a lot going wrong here. First, the soil level is really low in this pot. That was a huge mistake. I filled about half of the bed full of things like sticks, cardboard, other dry material, and then I just put the soil on top, and then I immediately started planting in the bed. I should have watered it in and then put more soil on top, because obviously, as you can tell, it settled a lot. That was not supposed to happen. This was a huge mistake. Anyways, moving on. Here I've got some marigolds. This is called Fire. I love this. I've been saving seeds from this so that way next year I can plant the seeds, because I love this marigold. I think it's really pretty, and it's really good to keep pests away as well. Here we've got carrots. They're growing pretty slowly, so we'll see how they do. It could be a problem with the way the soil settled. It could be touching like branches and stuff and not really getting enough soil is something that I'm kind of afraid of. And then here we have bush beans. These bush beans, there are actually some beans on it already, but this bush bean is looking kind of rough. I think it should be bushier. I think it should be more of a darker green than like a yellow green, but I don't know because I've never grown beans before. But I don't know, it just looks not very healthy. I did just recently fertilize it, so we'll see if they bounce back. I don't know, it might be a fail, but anyways, it was an experiment, and now I know better for next time. I also have onions planted here. Nothing has really sprouted much yet. This might be an onion sprout, but honestly it could also be grass. I'm not sure, but I am gonna reseed it probably pretty soon. I think when I originally planted the seeds for these onions, it was a little bit too hot. Again, I am in Florida, so onions are kind of trickier, but I don't know. I'm gonna add some more seeds pretty soon and see what happens. This table here, I've got 4 sweet pepper plants. This one here actually gave a bunch of sweet peppers already. We've already eaten them, and it is growing a few more peppers on the side. This one has actually the biggest peppers of all 4 of them. I'm not really sure why. It doesn't have as many as this one had, but it has a lot more. And I didn't really do anything different, so I don't really know why that is. But anyway, so there's this one. This one here hasn't really produced that many peppers. It's got 1 coming in, but it's pretty small. And then one behind it, this one here, it does have a few peppers and they're starting to turn color. And then back here, this is a fig tree. My stepdad also gave me this, and it honestly looks really good. It's really happy, really healthy. Hopefully it likes this spot, so we'll see. This bed has some things that I'm really excited about. I hope they do well. This is bok choy here. Here I've got cilantro, dill, jalapenos, another marigold. This one is really pretty too. I've also been saving the seeds on this one for next year. It's obviously like a hot orange color. I love it. And then this is our basil. We did harvest from this in the last video. The basil plant really does look good. It's coming in very happily, so love that. So yeah, that is the garden tour. It is a very tiny garden. There's quite a bit going on in this garden, but everything that is in this garden was not here before we moved into this house. So it has all been done by us, and yeah, I'm excited about it. There's a bunch of spots in this garden that I need to add more plants to, and I will obviously fill up some more of this concrete space with some other raised beds, or tables with pots on it. But yeah, that's the garden. If you like the video, then like it, subscribe, comment. If any comments would be helpful. I'm very new to gardening, so I mean relatively new. I do know a little bit about it, but there's a lot that I don't know, so any comments would be super helpful. Alright, thank you. See you in the next video.